Good morning, my YouTube viewers. Crystal here. I wanted to make you another video this morning, and this morning I'm going to be making the video on COVID-19. The reason why is because it's just come out in the news that there is a mutation of the virus coming out of Brazil, and as a result of this mutation of the virus, the UK has banned travel to South America and Portugal, because Brazil one time was a Portuguese colony and they speak Portugal there. Sorry, they speak Portuguese there. And as a result of that, they've also banned travel to and from Portugal. So I thought it'd be a good idea to make another video and to look at Brazil's death rates. I thought that would be a really good thing to do. So I'm using the same program that I've been using previously, except for the fact that I've added Brazil to it, and I have updated the CSV file this morning. But even though I've updated the CSV file this morning, this code review that I'm doing doesn't encompass yesterday's date because I have difficulties getting the Jupyter Notebook to come up. So I've got it installed on NB Viewer. If you ever have difficulties getting your Jupyter Notebook to come up on GitHub, you can always look at it on NB Viewer. So right here is the website that I got the CSV file from. That CSV file is updated daily. So every day that you work on COVID-19, you need to make sure that you're working with the most recent update, which I am working with most recent update, but you're just looking, the file that you're looking at on the NB Viewer is yesterday's update because I can't get my file up on GitHub and I didn't want to keep messing around with it, so I used NB Viewer. I wrote my program on Google Colab, and Google Colab is a free online Jupyter notebook, and it's got a lot of libraries already installed on it. So as a result of that, all I had to do was import the libraries. So I just imported Pandas and NumPy because those are the two main libraries that we use when we're programming. I read the file into the system, so you can see this is the file. We're looking at yesterday's update, so you can see yesterday's update was 2021-01-13, but on my GitHub, it's the most current update. It's the 14th on my GitHub account. I just can't get it to come up, and I wanted to do this video, so I'm doing the video on yesterday's update. But in real life, it is the most current update. So we wanted to check the info of the file, and you can see that most of the columns are object columns, most of the columns are float columns, but we have a few object columns. And so because we have a few object columns, it's going to be a little bit tricky to impute. It's always more difficult to impute on object columns than it is float columns, except for CatBoost, and I'm not using CatBoost. CatBoost will actually work on object columns, but you've got to do some special coding to get it to work. So next thing we want to do is we want to do some work on the dates. So we import date time, and what we're doing is we're converting the date to a number. So that's what we've done. We've created a new column called date num, and if you come over here, you see we've got date num here. So we've converted the date to a number, and we've created a new column to do that. Next thing we want to do is we want to be able to select which country we're looking at. So I put some code in there to give you a list of all the countries that are in the CSV file. There's actually 192 countries in the CSV file, but somehow or other, one of the countries dropped off. I don't know why that is, but one country dropped off. So now whenever I do my read the file, it's only 191 columns. But the original data set had 192 countries, and you can see all of these countries that they have in the data set, and you can see right here it says 192. So you can get the latest date. So we're going to be doing some work with the date. So we have to import date, and time delta. So you have to get today's date, and yesterday was the 14th, and then you have to get yesterday, and so the day before that was the 13th, and you get the last date. The last date is the maximum date, and they're saying the maximum date is 13th, and you have to do that because you have to get today and yesterday, because we had an incident one time where someone had put in the current date into the CSV file, even though they hadn't entered the data. And that sort of messed up the program. And because it messed up the program, what I had to do was I had to put this fail-safe mechanism in here. So if anybody messes up the CSV file again, at least we've got this fail-safe program to make sure that we've got the data that we're supposed to have in there. So we print the type of the last date, which is a timestamp. We print the type of yesterday, and we make it a timestamp, and you can see it's a timestamp. Okay, so now we do an if-else loop. So if the date equals yesterday, date equals yesterday. If date greater than yesterday, the last date is yesterday. Else last date equals last date. So that's your fail-safe mechanism. So if anybody goes into that CSV file and puts extra dates in there, at least you've got a fail-safe mechanism to ensure that you've got the most appropriate date in there when you're reading the file. So now what we're doing is we're checking last date, and this is the file for last date, and you can see that the last date checked was the 13th, which was the day before yesterday. We're doing a graphical representation of new cases, a graphical representation of new deaths. We're checking out the location, and I actually had to add some depth to this because as we're getting more new cases, the file is getting bigger, and so that used to be, I think it was 800,000, and now it's 900,000. So you can see that this one country here has the most new cases. So I don't know if it's the United States or the United Kingdom, but it could be both of them, who knows, because there's so many locations that you can't actually see the location here. And here you see the new deaths, and you can see again it's the somewhere towards the end. It's either the UK or the US where they have the most deaths. And I know that the UK is in really dire situation, really bad, poor situation with regard to this COVID-19. And that's why we're in our third lockdown, because they're trying to get control of the COVID-19. And I can tell you that I personally had my injection, not necessarily because I wanted to have the injection, but I got the injection for other people, for my colleagues, really. I got the injection for other people. And so it really wasn't something that I necessarily wanted to do, but just so other people would feel safe, I got the injection. And that's really all I can say on that matter. I can't say too much other than that. So now what we're doing is we're checking the new cases by continent, and you can see North America's got tons of new cases. And at some point I'm going to have to increase the maximum depth of this file as well as we keep getting more and more new cases. And then so now we've got the file on the new deaths, and you can see North America has the most new deaths as well. So now we have a heat map. If you like heat maps and you like analyzing how the different variables relate to each other, then we've got a nice heat map that you can use so you can study all that. Now we're checking the UK. UK seems to be the hot spot. Definitely it's the hot spot in Europe with having the most new cases and new deaths. So what we did was we did a filter on the UK so that we can filter out the UK. And we used this same coding to filter out other countries as well. And so every time I analyze a country, I just put the country in this program. So we're not going to go over everything. It's just to say, well, we've done a filter on this country. But it's exactly the same coding. And then, so now we're checking the new cases per million, and that's the UK. So you can see here that we had, around Christmas time, we had a spike, which is what they said was going to happen. And then they initiated another lockdown. And when they have initiated this other lockdown, the cases have decreased. And then we had an increase in the cases yesterday. So I did get my vaccine, which is what the government wants me to do. And because of some place that I have to be, I had to get the vaccine. But if I had a choice, I wouldn't do it. But I didn't really have a choice because of this certain place that I have to be. So we've got the new deaths, and you can see here that a lot of people are dying from this COVID-19, which is why the UK is in a third lockdown. And so UK is in a bad situation. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to, rather than go through every single one, I'm just going to say to you, I've used this filter to filter out the US. So I have used this filter to filter out the US. So you can see the US new cases and the US new deaths. Now we've done Brazil. Brazil is what we're going to be looking at today. So we've got Brazil here. We've got Brazil new cases. So there's a mutation coming out of Brazil, and it was just in the news this week, which is why I'm making the video. And then you've got the Brazil new deaths as well. So we've got Spain. We've got, I may have to do Portugal as well, because in the UK has banned flights to and from Portugal because because in Brazil they speak Portuguese. So I might go ahead and check out Portugal and see what the COVID-19 cases in Portugal are. We've got India. We've got China. We've got Taiwan. So we previously gone over all of these in other videos, which is why I'm just scrolling through it, because we've got Japan. We've gone through all of these in other videos, which is why I'm just scrolling through. We've got New Zealand. We've got Australia. We've got South Africa. We've got Nigeria. So they had a variant coming out of South Africa, a variant coming out of Nigeria, and a variant coming out of the UK. And now they have a variant coming out of Brazil. And that's why we're looking at these 4 countries that the variants are coming out of. We've got Sweden. Now, Sweden didn't have a lockdown, and because of that, they had a lot of deaths. I don't know if they're going to go through a lockdown, but I know previously they didn't have a lockdown. And so you can see they've had a lot of new cases and new deaths because they didn't impose a lockdown. We've got Denmark, which is a neighbor of Sweden. Okay, and so now what we've got, so now we've gone through all the countries that I've filtered out. We're just comparing the new cases to the new deaths. So we have a lot more new cases than we do new deaths. And this is new cases per million. So you can see that there's a lot more new cases per million than there are new deaths. And you've got new deaths per million. So this is new cases per million, new deaths per million, and that's global. New cases per million, new deaths per million, and that's global. Oh, and this is UK. This is the UK, new cases per million, new deaths per million. So you can see got lots of cases. And this is Spain, new cases per million, new deaths per million. And then so we can compare the countries. So I can take the Spain out, really. I should have said Brazil is what I should have done rather than Spain. But after I do this video, I'll go through and I'll put Brazil in there. And so we can do the blog post. So now what we're doing is we're revising our data frames to make them compatible with each other because all the data frames have to be the same shape. So we've revised the UK, we took out 28 rows. We revised the US, we took out 37 rows. We revised Brazil, we took out 2 rows. That means in Brazil they started testing later. We revised Spain, we've taken out 27 rows. We revised China, we took out 37 rows. We revised India, we took out 29 rows. We revised Taiwan. We took out 43 rows. We revised Japan, we took out 37 rows. We revised Spain, we took out 27 rows. We revised Denmark, we took out 32 rows. We revised South Africa, we took out 21 rows. We revised Australia, we took out 33 rows. And then now what we have to do is we have to define variables for all of this information that we're going to be making a data frame on all of this information. So every country that we've worked on, we've had to define variables. So, and then, so now what we've done is we've made new data frames for every country that we've worked on. So we keep scrolling down here just through all the data frames for every country we've worked on. And now we've merged all of these data sets together, and you can only merge 2 data sets at one time, which is why we've used all of these merge commands. And then what we did was we checked for any null characters. We've got tons of null characters, but it's all numeric. So we just filled all the null characters in with 0. So now what we've done is we've got a plot of the compare the date with South Africa, UK, Nigeria, and Brazil. So these are the 4 countries that they've got mutations coming out of. So UK is amber, so you can see UK is got the most cases. And Brazil is red, and so you can see Brazil is coming in second. And South Africa is blue, so you can see South Africa is moving up there with Brazil because South Africa has got this variation coming out of their country. And I was just looking at a YouTube video, and I believe they said it was South Africa, that they said that so many people are dying of the virus that they are having a shortage of coffins. And I just saw that on YouTube video this morning as I was preparing to make this video. And you've got Nigeria, so you don't have a lot of new cases in Nigeria. And Nigeria says that the reason for that is because the age of the people who are getting it, they're able to fight off the virus. And the average age in Nigeria is 18. And I don't remember what the maximum age is, but I know the average age is 18. So you've got a lot of young people in Nigeria. So their immune systems are better. And because their immune systems are better, they're able to fight off the virus. Now what we'll do is we'll check out the new deaths. So the UK is amber, and as you can see, we've got a lot of people dying from this virus, which is why we're in another lockdown. I will say that my birthday's coming up in 2 weeks' time, really, and it's going to be pretty dreary because everything's going to be closed. So I'm not even going to be able to go out to eat at a restaurant just to celebrate my birthday. Not even able to do that, just to go to a restaurant. I mean, there's a possibility that we could go someplace and have a coffee, but we'd have to sit outside. And I think my boyfriend and I decided we're going to go someplace and have breakfast because my birthday's on the 30th and his birthday's on the 31st. And we're going to go someplace and have breakfast and just sit there and have breakfast to celebrate both of our birthdays. But we can't say where we're going. It's a secret. And then so the South Africa is blue, and again, you've got a lot of deaths coming up in South Africa, and you can see that the deaths are creeping up, and that falls in line with this YouTube video that I saw where it said that they are having a shortage of coffins, that so many people are dying from the illness. And then you've got Nigeria, that they've got not so many people in Nigeria are getting the virus or dying from the virus. So this mutation did actually come from Nigeria, but because most of the people, the average age in Nigeria is about 18 years old, they're able to fight it off. But what we can do is we can come back here and we can look at Nigeria. So we've got Nigeria. So we've come over here and we found the data set for Nigeria. The median age is 18, which I said that. Let's look at see if we can find the life expectancy, because I know, or the oldest age, I know life expectancy is 55 years old. So I've lived longer than the life expectancy of Nigeria. So that's why they're not getting that many cases and they're not having that many deaths, because the life expectancy in Nigeria is only 55 years of age. And because it's only 55 years of age, the people who are most susceptible to this illness, well, are already dead in Nigeria. So that was interesting. Don't you think that was interesting that in Nigeria, the average age is 18 and the life expectancy is 55. But in the UK, I think the average age is like 40 and the life expectancy is, I think, 81. So in the UK, the life expectancy is about 25 years higher than it is in Nigeria. So that's very interesting when we're working on demographics. And then, we have a better understanding of why there's not so many cases, because the people in Nigeria are younger, and because the people in Nigeria are younger, they're not succumbing to the illness. And I suspect in Nigeria they're not testing a lot either. I suspect that might be one of the reasons. But they're not getting so many cases because they're probably not symptomatic. They haven't got really bad symptoms, so they're not testing. And because the life expectancy of the average Nigerian is 55 years old, well, they're already going to be dead by the time they reach the age where the virus was going to be the most detrimental to their health. So that's very interesting. I don't know what you think about that, but I think about that. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to go through the code, the rest of the code for the rest of the program, which I've done this before. So this is the rest of the program, the main program. We checked for any missing values, any null values. We've imputed those null values. We imputed the object columns, and then after we imputed the object columns, then we filled all of the numeric columns with 0. We have ordinal encoded the object columns. We put everything on a standard scaler, so we standard scaled it. We split it into for training and validations. We selected our model, which is enable hist gradient boosting. We checked our we predicted on it, but you can see here nothing's working anymore. I don't know what happened, but nothing's working on it anymore. So that's it. That's the code, but the code doesn't actually come up anymore. So I'm not sure exactly why that is, but that's one of the problems that you have with NBViewer, I suppose, that it just didn't come up with the rest of the code. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and conclude this video, because we got the main part of the video. We did actually get to the point where we were able to compare the new cases and the new deaths, which is what we wanted to do. And the rest of the video, I'm going to have to investigate and find out why the code didn't come through on the rest of the video or the rest of the NP viewer. But as I said before, I was having some problems on my GitHub as well. So that concludes my video. If you like my video, please like, subscribe, and share. If you want to keep receiving my videos, then please hit the notification bell and you will receive a notification whenever I make a new video. And it's important that you do that, because if you don't watch the videos, then after a while YouTube will unsubscribe you. And I've noticed that happening, that a few of my subscriptions have dropped off. And if you like the work I do and you want to make a donation, then I've got my email address to my PayPal account in the description box down below. And the reason why is because I don't have enough subscribers, which is why I have to ask for donations. I will be making a blog post on this, so you definitely can read the blog posts, and I really would like that, because I do get paid for the blog posts, although not very much. You know, I can't earn a living off of it, but I do get paid enough to have like a tiny meal once a month, which is nice. So again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I look forward to making new videos for you in the future.